just, look at how he's just dozing off for God's sake.
Welcome back to my channel. It's Ronke Raji.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ronke and I am a beauty and lifestyle creator who also talks about real stuff. So today I'm going to be talking about how motherhood changed me. Okay, we always do some think pieces. I love me some think pieces and I've been trying to do them every week. Amari in the back, just letting you know, he's fast asleep. Every single time he gets back from school, he's knocked out. I don't know what they be doing. They be doing everything because he be knocked out. You can always weigh in the comment section. I love talking to you guys. I try to respond as much as I possibly can, and give me a like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, and let's jump in. So I had this idea last week to do a video where I was talking about how motherhood changed me, and I saw this lady on TikTok and she was talking about how people act when they become mothers and how motherhood is not as celebrated as it should be in today's society. And I'm going to roll the clip so that you guys can really see what she's talking about, and then we can come back and then we can start our think piece as usual.
Something I think couples don't do is say, "Psst, let me introduce myself. I'm a different person now."
Yeah.
I was a different person after I gave birth. I don't think we acknowledge that. There's this wonderful man named Bill Moyer who was an interviewer. He had this tribe that he interviewed, and they gather the woman to give birth, and as soon as under her they have a cloth. As soon as that first drop of blood hits the cloth, her sisters grab that cloth, they go running, they bury it, and have a full ceremony for her. They cry, they mourn their friend. "Oh God, she was so fucking great. We're gonna miss her so much. Wasn't she beautiful?" They bury that, then they go in and they introduce themselves to her, and they let her enter that tribe as this new woman who's a mother. And you want your husband to see, "I'm not the chick that you knocked up. I'm the mother that gave birth." And I just think that's something that we don't have modern man in the cities, and when you leave tribal communities, we don't have that anymore. It's been whitewashed right out of our spirit. And I think that's another reason why marriages go tits up. Marriage is a ceremony. And you have to acknowledge those changes, right?
I currently now have 2 5-year-olds, because I don't know if you guys know, but my kids are Irish twins. So which means that when I was born, he was just a year. So they're like really close together. And I remember thinking to myself, like, is this even possible? Now, the 2 things that I feel like people don't talk about when you become a mom is that there's no right or wrong way to mother your child. And I think that there's a lot of misconception around how to mother, good mothers. When I was on social media, when I came back after having Amari, I, snapped back into just like doing work and everything. But by the time I had 2 kids, it was really hard for me to be on social media, because after you become a mom and after you give birth to kids, you have a whole mental rebranding. You have a whole mental change. It's like something in you is no longer the same. And for a time, I lost myself. I genuinely did not know who I was, because the title of mother had been placed on me so much that I had assumed that that was all I was at that time. And honestly, it wasn't until I had a breakdown and I had somebody tell me that if I wasn't okay, the kids weren't going to be okay. And I would never forget that, because it was something that I also had to kind of always tell myself, because as a mom, and I've seen so many older moms sacrifice their time, sacrifice their energy, sacrifice themselves for their kids, and then end up either being resentful or either end up being like hurt at the end of the day, because either their kids don't reciprocate the way they want to, or things just don't work out the way they want to, and you now have a mom who doesn't feel like they live their life to the fullest. And seeing those type of situations has just made me realize I can't get caught up in being a mom. You know, motherhood and being a mom is just a part of who you are, and it's not all of who you are. And for me, that was something that I had to learn, and it took me a really long time to learn, because I honestly let it define me a little bit, because I kept thinking to myself, well, I can't do this because I have kids now. Or I'll give myself an excuse like, well, you know, I can't travel because, you know, with kids, you know. And I realized that the limitations that I placed on myself being a mother was something that I was going to regret in future. I'm still young. I'm 34. I don't feel the need to put myself in a box of doing certain things a certain way because I'm a mom. Like, I still dress like this. I still put my makeup on. I still do all the things that I used to do even when I wasn't a mom, because I genuinely believe that I didn't want to lose myself in motherhood. I didn't want to be a mom that, oh, because now I'm a mom and like I know I have to do things quickly. I started to realize that I needed to make time for myself, and now I'm a priority in my own life. Is he sleeping? I don't like his head going like that. Talking about being a priority in my own life. But I realized I'm a priority in my own life, and what that means is I will still wake up before I go drop off the kids to do my makeup, if that's the only time that I feel like I can do my makeup, you know. And making time for myself and doing things for myself while the children are still in school has really helped me to find a different value in being a mom. It's something, honestly, I feel like it's something that has not only changed the way I think about myself, it has made me realize how much I can do hard things. You know, you hear people saying things like, I can do hard things. It's like, I didn't realize how much my children will motivate me to do better, to be better, to act a certain way until I had kids. And I was just kind of like, wow, like I'm now in a place where I'm like, there is a child watching me. First of all, I don't even know how this happened, because in my mind, I'm like 10 years old. I'm a teenager. I don't know how I'm responsible for other children. I just don't. I don't know. Every time I think about it, it's actually crazy, but I won't have it any other way, because I mean, hey, it is what it is. But one thing that I will say though is there has been times where I look at motherhood and it's so 50-50. It's very much, there are some days where I think to myself like, wow, this is actually extremely hard. Am I going to be able to feed these kids, bathe these kids, clothe these kids? I mean, there's some days, see, hey, the thing that I have learned, the biggest lesson, it's okay for your house to be messy sometimes. There's some days, and I watch a lot of TikTok, but my For You page is very tailored to me and how and the things I watch, and I watch a lot of motivational things. And I remember Shonda Rhimes talked about this. As a mother, there's gonna be times where your kids are dressed up, their hair is done, everything is spick and span, but your work takes a toll. And there's gonna be times where you're at work, grinding everything, and your kids are not going to be as taken care of as you would like to be. I posted, why is this child sleeping like this now? Like, I know the sleep is sweet, but damn, like, the whole head coming down is really stressing me out like this. I have noticed that in my life as well. I had posted this video a couple of, let me get this child's head. I posted a video on my Instagram. I had done a creative look, and the creative look I did was like a heart-shaped look. Actually, you know what? Let me just feel you.
Oh, how do you do it? How do you do it? You're so great at balancing motherhood. No, those looks right now. You know why? Because I've been doing my makeup for a couple of hours. Havana, my daughter, she spilled this. I have now sent them to bed because, yeah.
So when I posted this video, I noticed that there was a 50-50 amount of comments. Some comments were like, oh my goodness, like, what? Why would you live in this type of filth? Why is everything so dirty? Oh, that's not what I want. But other comments were like, I feel seen. Like, oh my gosh, this is how my house is. And as a mother, I think that we're so much more heavily judged because we are supposed to have it all together. And it's okay for you not to have it all together as a mom. We are only one person. You know what I mean? Like, I know that we can. Like, we can do those things. But sometimes it's okay to understand that, like, the balance in life is finding what works for you and finding how you live your life. You don't have to live your life how you see people online, because you don't know, but the people online might have help. And if you don't have help and you're in a specific situation and you're thinking to yourself, oh, but this mom does it better, or oh, this mom does this, you have to figure out what version of motherhood works for you. And I'm not gonna lie, for me, I'm a very type B mom. I actually thought I was a type A mom for a very long time, but I really am not. I would not lie to you. Very type B mom. Will my children eat noodles twice a week? Yes. Yes, they will. Do they eat chicken nuggets? They do. The one thing I do spend a lot of time focusing on, though, is two things: communication and screen time. Those are my two big facets. Communication in the sense that, like, especially with Ivana, I try to make her understand, hey, you're crying right now, you can be in control of your emotions. I'm trying to teach her emotional intelligence. It's been very hard for me because I myself had to I learned emotional intelligence as an adult. So it's so hard for me to teach her emotional intelligence. But a lot of times I'm like, look, this is something that I really want her to get at a young age so that she'll be able to regulate her emotions as a person, because emotional regulation in general is something that it's not taught, you know? So that's one thing that I try to do and, like, communicate, like, okay, how are you feeling right now? So that's one thing that I'm really a stickler on. And the second thing I'm really a stickler on is screen time. I noticed, honestly, since Ivana was like 3-4 years old, she's 5 now, but I noticed within the past couple of years, there was a time where she would just have screen time at any time. Like, it was never this is the time you have screen time. It was just at any time. But what I noticed was she wasn't paying attention in school. Actually, this was around when she was 3, because I know for at least 2 years I've been doing this. When she was around 3, I noticed that her attention span started lagging. And, you know, even as adults, we know, even with Gen Z and everybody, there's a lot of people who our attention spans aren't that great, because TikTok, 2 minutes, it takes 2 minutes to catch a viewer's attention. All these things, they're like consistently pulling us to you know, realize that our attention spans are really, really short. So for kids, especially when they start watching all these Cocomelon or these fast shows and things like that, you start to realize that, you know, I noticed that she wasn't paying attention in school. Her teacher will talk about it. Like, she'll have, like, just times where she won't, like, focus on things. So I was like, okay, I can already understand that this is actually what might cause ADHD in adults. How am I going to tackle this? So now, usually what I do, I noticed she started being really into coloring. So I started buying her coloring books, because during the week, she does not have screen time. She only has screen time during the weekend. The only time that she has screen time during the week is either A, when somebody is watching her, like, I'm not there and they want to give her screen time, or B, if I'm recording and I know that I'm not going to be able to be around her or, like, talk to her as much as I would like to, that's when she has screen time. But during the weekend, she can do whatever. During the week, I try to only make sure she has her homework done and everything like that. With Amari, again, I'm trying to foster more independence with him. So a lot of times what I try to do is, like, get him to wear his clothes or things like that. And honestly, it's been a up and down journey. You know, every year that they get older, I figure out a new thing. Like, for example, this year is the first year that I have finally figured out, like, hey, you can actually, like, start traveling, doing things you used to do. And the one thing that they don't talk about, especially being a mom, is don't give into snapback culture. Snapback culture does not exist. Honestly, I've heard this from many women. It takes you at least 2 to 3 years after each child to mentally be okay. So understand that, like, you have gone through, childbirth is no joke. You have gone through such a huge transformation. There is no need for you to put so much pressure on yourself to get back to who you were, because you're no longer that person. You have brought a child into the world, and that itself is so special that you don't need to be looking for that old person. You are a new person. You are a mom, and you are new. You know, it's gonna take you a while. Like, to be quite honest, my kids, like I said, my kids are now what? Amari is gonna be 6 in June. Ivana is 5. Honestly, I feel like it has taken me at least 4 years to finally get to a point where I feel like I'm thinking clearly for myself and feeling like myself. You know, I dress up now, I put on my makeup, and I feel great. But it took me a while. It took me a lot of self-reflection. It took me a lot of even just being with the kids. Honestly, it even took me a while to bond with my kids. And each stage that they are, I learn different things about them, and which in turn helps me learn different things about myself. One thing that I feel like is really deep, especially about me being a mother right now, is the fact that Ivana is literally so like me. What I tried to do is I started realizing that I see myself so much in her, and a part of me is being healed through her. You know, she looks so much like me when I was younger, and when I look at her sometimes, I start to try to figure out how I would have wanted to be parented, and how I would have, because I'm actually a really sensitive person, and I noticed that she's so sensitive. And when I say sensitive, she's sensitive to tonal inflection. She's sensitive to how I talk, you know, what I do, and that's how I am. So I started realizing, like, I need to parent her how I would have wanted to be parented. And a lot of times I started to realize, like, oh my goodness, like, in a way, this is healing a part of my inner child. And something about that just makes me feel so happy, because honestly, it took me a while to understand and to be okay with the type of mother I was, or I am, because I always felt like there was a certain blueprint that I needed to meet, and I no longer have that expectation for myself. I just mother the way I want to, and I actually generally don't care about the judgment, because I started realizing that I do what's best for me. I'm the only one in my situation, and I'm the only one that can raise these children as best as I know how to, because I'm present with them, you know? So in a way, like, and I know my journey is different because I am a single mom. However, I still believe, like, as a mom in general, like, even if you have somebody who's helping you and things like that, there's things that you need to do for yourself to also make sure you're okay, that they're healthy, they're relaxed, they're, you know, they have their mom. Like, I know that it's not an easy journey, and I also know that it's not a journey that everybody has, you know. You have somebody who's always there around you, and they're always trying to emulate you, and they are watching what you do. So it starts to make you look at the things that you're doing, and starts to make you conscious of the things that you're doing around your children, because you're kind of like, okay, what traits do I want you to emulate? Because I'm growing myself. We're all growing together, you know? And I just kind of also want to say this to anybody out there who is trying to have kids, or who is, you know, in the season, because I always want to remember that Mother's Day is not just about the people who are already mothers. It's also for people who have lost, you know, and they deserve to be celebrated as well. It's also for people who are trying to become mothers, you know. And I just want to, like, earnestly say, like, if you're somebody out there who has been trying, or you're going through your journey of, like, trying to become a mom, I'm telling you right now, I know your season is coming, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to have your moments, and it's just going to be amazing. And don't think that because you don't have a child right now, there's something wrong with you as a woman, or there, you know, you are less than. You are doing the best you can, and that alone is enough. And even to my moms, the same thing. You're doing the best you can. I know that society as a whole is so hard on moms, and, you know, oh, that baby doesn't have a jacket on, or do this, or why is your child doing this? Notice that I get more empathy with other people who have children because they know that it's not an easy job and it's not something that should just be taken for granted. And I thank God every day for my kids, and I thank God every day that they're in my life because they've changed me in ways that I could not even fathom. And even going back to like the whole social media thing, I remember when I first went back on social media, honestly, I've seen this discussion going on about like when women have kids and then all of a sudden their whole personality becomes children, and like some people unfollow them. But as women, you need to give grace to those women, because when you first have a child, you genuinely don't like the child is attached to you. That baby is not sleeping every 2 hours doing all this. So in a way, like it's not like mothers just want to post their kids because they're like, it just becomes your personality for a time. And honestly, if you don't just take a break and like remain private, do what you need to do, sometimes you just want to like bring the baby along, and it takes a while, and then after a while you kind of get into the hang of it. For me, I remember I was posting a lot about my kids, posting vlogs, posting these things, and then after a while I then started realizing like, okay, I kind of want to get back into posting things that I generally enjoy, fashion, beauty, things like that, and I'll post the kids here and there, like Mother's Day, Easter, that kind of thing. But again, it took me a while to get there, and sometimes we forget that everybody is just trying to figure things out, and you have to look at people as, hey, this person is trying to figure it out. Like, they're trying to be a mom while being a creator, or doing things differently. So in a way, sometimes I think it really is all about grace, giving grace to people, because we generally don't know what they're going through and why. Just give grace, And honestly, the one thing I've also realized is that unfortunately, there is an idea of the village that a lot of people talk about, and I've noticed that really the village is people who you build and the people who come into your life. And one thing also about being a mom is you gotta find people to be around you. I'm slowly starting to learn that have mom friends, be around other moms, because that will also kind of help you to understand how other people function. It will also help you honestly to be less stressed, because I've noticed, especially with my mom friends, that like we would just be relating on certain things, and it just feels good to be able to tell somebody else like, hey, like this is what happened on this day, or I hate laundry. And they'd be like, oh yeah, I totally understand, so definitely have mom friends. Mom friends are the best, honestly. I'm always looking to make new mom friends. Every single time I meet a mom, I'm like, yes, my people in the club, we all fam. How do you feel being a mom? What do you think about motherhood, and how long did it take you to get back on your feet or feel like yourself after you became a mom? Because that's also like a really important topic. So I would love to continue the conversation down below. I'll see you guys in my next video. I hope you guys have a happy Mother's Day, and send your own mother flowers too, okay? Send your mother flowers or edible arrangements. I just talked to somebody about this as well. Don't forget your mom, because our moms were just young moms at some point, so we gotta remember them. But yeah, all right guys, bye.